Hi everyone, here we are at Module 7, which is going to focus on communicating and collaborating with social media. And I'm guessing that most of you are pretty aware of using social media for your personal lives and may or may not have thought about using it in education. You're already actually using it in education for this course by blogging. And we are also doing some of that again this week with your wiki assignment, which is a collaborative way of creating a web page. So you should have already signed up with your team and gotten onto your wiki page. This week is where you'll focus on completing that wiki page. So this is a focus this week on copyright. Many of you have already experienced some of my comments about the images that you're using as being copyrighted. It is not only not ethical to be using copyrighted images, but it is illegal by federal law. And you may or may not get caught, just like if you speed in a 35 mile an hour stretch of road, but you legally are bound for that. And that's really important as we work with digital information, and your information is out there. And it's also really critical that we look at that when we talk about teaching, because you're modeling for students. So you need to model the correct way. Many of you have never learned this. It is something that you have to unlearn what you learned to do before, and that was copy and paste. That's the only world that you knew. But you need to undo that. And your assignments from here on in, including the wiki assignment this week, must have non-copyrighted images. And that's for everything that we do from here on out and even from the past. So let's go ahead and work through this module. So we're on Module 7. We'll start with the overview. The overview of, just like in other previous weeks, we'll look at a learning goal as well as some overall information. Then you'll move to the next page, which will start with the copyright information. And again, really important to go through all of this and make sure that you have a good understanding of copyright, as well as you'll see, fair use and public domain. And there's also information about Creative Commons. So this is an embedded content presentation. So you're seeing there are 11 pages up here. This is the first page. After you've read through that, you click there to go to the next page. There's some built-in questions, and what you can do is you can answer this question by clicking on true or false and click check answer, and it will give you the answer so that you can kind of go through and check yourself along the way. This is not graded, it's just for you. The next page and the next few pages provide you with some examples of typical kinds of things that happen with in the classroom, and how would you answer them as being either copyrighted or not. So hopefully this will give you some practical examples. And after the last one, there is a video here. It's about 15 minutes long. If you don't like watching it on the small screen, there is an opportunity, I believe, to make it larger once you start playing it. This is called The Fair Use Tale. It is an excellent example of what is copyright, what is fair use, what is public domain, and how it can be used. It is done with Disney movies, clips from Disney movies, which is part of, it's the built-in part of explaining how you can use other people's works and how you cannot. So definitely take some time to look at that. Sometimes it goes so quickly that you need to look at it a couple of times to capture it all. But it's kind of entertaining because it is using Disney clips. In fact, the first time I watched it, I was distracted by all the Disney pieces of it that I didn't get any of the content. So feel free, it's there for you, and you can look at it as many times as you need to. And then on the next page, you'll learn about Creative Commons. There are 2 videos here that will help to explain Creative Commons. This is what I like for you to be using when you are selecting photographs or images. I provided you with that in Module 2 under using Blogger and Google to create that initial blog. There's a hyperlink to see how to search for Creative Commons licensed photos. In this case, through Flickr. There are other places, but I will tell you, if you use Google and you don't follow the advanced search and get into Creative Commons, and then if you don't go further to make sure that they are truly Creative Commons licensed, you will have a copyrighted photograph, and it's not good. It's illegal, and you have to assume that every single thing that you see on the web is copyrighted. That's what copyright means. Anytime someone creates something, it is theirs, and they have the rights to decide whether someone else gets to use it or not. And that's particularly true when you're using the internet. So please make sure that you have an understanding of it. You may or may not agree with it, but it is the law, and it is something that you need to be familiar with. And in the case of this course, it's something that I'm pretty picky on. And part of that is because I create my own things. And I don't want people taking the things that I create and using them without getting permission from me, or, which many of the times, like 15,000 of my photographs out on Flickr are Creative Commons licensed. I don't mind if people use them, but they better give me credit. And speaking of that, make sure that you're giving credit the proper way as well. That credit should always link back to the original image or photograph. So just finding something on the web, whether it be on a blog or somewhere else, if it does not have the Creative Commons license or a public domain license, you may not use it unless you want to break the law and be unethical. Okay, so end of rant, but it's really, really important to respect that. There's a little bit more in the conclusions and resources, and so you'll have a chance to look through all of that and be able to get a better understanding, hopefully, of copyright. The next page is on social media and education, which will provide you a couple more links and resources of how to consider using some of these social media resources in the classroom. Again, people have heard of Twitter. You might be using Twitter. You might be using it for your own social reasons. Could you use that in the classroom? Most of you are going to say, are you kidding me? No. But there's 50 ways to use Twitter in the classroom. Check it out. And then here are some reminders about your instructional strategy wiki. You do need to make sure that you check this out, because you'll be graded as a collaborative effort for these 3 pages, or three areas, I should say, 2 pages and one quality contribution there. Then you will have an opportunity to get most of your grade on this particular project through your own individually created wiki page, and these are the things that are important. These things are all specified on the grading rubric, and again, that's always something that you should look at. Let's skip the multimedia, and we'll go to what you need to do this week. You may create an optional blog post, but your main focus really needs to be on Instructional Strategies Wiki project. If you need to have a review on what's supposed to be in the Instructional Strategies Wiki project, please make sure that you go back to Module 6, because there are strategies listed there. And in fact, I'll show you that in just a second. There is the assignment here. And again, I know yours looks a little different. Here's the criteria. Here's how you're going to be graded. You can see that the home page is a collaboration. Look at the quality. Which one, check yourselves. Which one would you grade yourself on? Looking at the performance indicators. And note that, for example, the home page is only worth 4 points, whereas the instructional strategy description that you put on your own page is worth 12. And then you need to embed technology within, and specifically your page. And there are 3 different elements that you need to show if you want the full credit. You may use one photo, you may use one clip art, you may use one hyperlink, etc. But if you use 3 photos, you're only going to get credit down here instead of up here. So make sure that you read and understand that. And again, this will require that you use only Creative Commons or public domain photographs and clip art. If you create your tables, if you create something yourself, that's great. And in fact, you should give credit for yourself for that, just like we've been doing, some of you have been doing for your blogs. Your reference page needs to be an APA citation style, just like everything else. And then there is an additional aspect here where you're going to evaluate up here. You will go to one of the group members' instructional strategy wiki pages and evaluate that based on both a positive and a suggestion for making the page better. There is the digital blog post up if you want to do that. It is not required. And then I just want to take you back to the modules, and let's look at module 6. Here is in the instructional strategies wiki information. Here is the real crucial point in terms of getting one of those high yield strategies, as well as the sample wiki that you can use to kind of get an idea of what a wiki page would look like, and the tutorial for getting started. Remember, really critical, I've made that comment about this on your wiki pages, all information, all communication, everything with regards to creating this wiki must be done right on the wiki page. So when you go to your wiki page, you'll see that there's a discussion post that people, I started one and I put reminders in, somebody responded to it. Those are the kinds of things that need to be transparent, need to be obvious. All communication must be done then. Do not use the message aspect here. Everything is done on the homepage of the wiki, and then once people start creating their wiki pages, you can go out to their wiki page. There's another discussion tab at the bottom where you can add your evaluation. So hopefully that will help clarify some information for you on this week's expectations, and have fun with your wiki. Let me know if you have any questions as you go along.